What is up, everybody? This is quite a new start to one of my videos, but this is my Thursday Throwdown video. So today we're starting our video out at the meat store. We are at the House of Meats in Tampa. We're gonna go inside and get me a pork roast and just a couple other things to go with this meal. So come on, let's go inside and let's get us something to eat. So unfortunately, this portion of my video will be a voiceover. It's Saturday, y'all, and there are so many people in this meat store. The music was loud. It was just crazy trying to edit all of that out. So we're gonna voice over. You get to hear my beautiful, wonderful voice. So I wanted to bring you along for this particular shopping trip just to show you a little bit of how I get my meat, or how I make my meal, kind of like from start to finish kind of thing. And what I'm looking for is I want my meat to be pink, and I don't want any dull looking meat. You can't obviously smell it through the package, but you can look at it, and if it has a dull look and it's not pink or red, that's not the meat for you, sis. Also, I'm looking at how much it weighs versus the price. So for me, I prefer to have a pork roast that is a large pork roast so that I can get quite a few meals out of that pork roast. We don't just eat the meal one particular time. We usually separate it. And then they also have a large selection of vegetables and fruits and other things that anything that you could think of, this meat store probably got it. I also love this fresh peeled garlic. Y'all, you cannot beat that with a stick. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see more meat store videos. Literally almost midnight, and I'm trying to get this meat put in the oven. So with mine, I cook it overnight because I don't like to babysit. I'm not trying to keep running back and forth to the oven checking no food. So I usually cook it overnight in my roaster pan, which I forgot. Hey, Yaya, can you get the roaster pan for me? I usually cook it overnight in my roaster pan. My oven is set to 200 and I think that's backwards, but 225 degrees. Sometimes I cook it a little bit higher depending on what time I put it in the oven, but I'm gonna put it in for 225 degrees today, and that should take me to maybe about 10 a.m., 9 a.m., maybe even a little bit earlier. So usually it depends on how big the roast is. So I'm going to show you my roast because I did show you in the meat store. And y'all, it was a lot cheaper than what I thought it was going to be because I thought this thing was going to be about $12. But to be honest with you, I don't feel like it's as big as it usually is. So let me show you my meat because I do need to sit it in some cold vinegar water so that it can kind of clean a little bit. And then I'll rinse it off and I'll get started and show you exactly what I'm doing. So let's take a look at my meat. All right, so this is I think it's a pork shoulder. Yep, my pork shoulder. And it was $9.44. I thought it was gonna be so much more, but this is my pan that I'm gonna cook it in. This is my roaster pan. This is my Old Faithful. So I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap this, and then I'm gonna put it in this bowl right here that has, I put a little bit of vinegar in it, and then I'm gonna fill it up with water so that it can sit, and some of this, whatever this stuff is, the dirtiness that's on the meat, it can kind of clean off. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll finish chopping up some of my vegetables. So all of my meat did not fit inside of my bowl, but this is the biggest bowl that I got. My other one, I kind of threw it away. So I did put it in the bowl the best that I could. And so in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I will flip it so that the other half can be submerged in water. So I did get some more items from the meat store. I got these jalapenos, which cost me 83 cents. And then I got some habanero peppers, which I'm gonna make I'm gonna put in another recipe, which is my beans, or maybe I should do it this way, which is for my beans. But anyway, oh, and I also got this fresh garlic. So right now I'm chopping up my garlic because I'm a garlic girl. I like a lot of garlic, and yeah, I'm gonna put this garlic in my meat. I'm gonna cut some holes and some slits in a minute and stuff this garlic in there. All right, so my meat has soaked in my vinegar water, and what I want to do is I want to cut this top flap off, which is the skin, because we're going to get some of our seasoning inside. So sometimes I don't know if I want to cut a lot of that meat, but I like some meat. I don't like to eat all skin, but you don't want to take the whole flap off now. Don't get crazy. But you want it to come off enough so that you can get some of that seasoning in there. But also you want it to still be hooked on a little bit, because that's what keeps it juicy and moist and helps it to not dry out. Now I like some of the meat still on the skin. I feel like it helps it from being, it keeps it from being too crispy. So now that I cut my flap off, that helps me to be able to season this part, but also keeps the juices in. So one more thing that I like to do is I like to make cuts or little slits inside of my meat and put some of my seasoning and my, right now is habanero peppers and my garlic inside of my meat. Just like that, big enough so that I can stick some of my seasonings on the inside. So this is my mixture of seasonings. This is about a little bit over a cup. I'm probably not going to use all of it, but anyways, so when I mix all of my seasonings up, it just makes it easier for me to be able to spread it out on the meat and make sure everything is coated with my seasoning. So this is those habanero peppers that I chopped up earlier with some garlic, and I ended up melting it a little bit more than I wanted because my butter wasn't room temperature. But this is a couple tablespoons or teaspoons. Is it teaspoons? What is it? You know, a couple tablespoons of butter. And it's going to help me to move everything around and to work the vegetables or the spices inside of these little holes. So the last thing that I'm going to do before I put it in the oven is I'm going to put some of this sazon on it. Just 2 packets. I like the flavor, but I also like the color that it gives it. So we're going to sprinkle those packets on there and flip it over and rub it down. Now that everything's seasoned up and it's been buttered down, it's ready to go in my oven. Like I said, I'm going to put it in the oven at 225. And I'm going to put it in there overnight. Good morning. I'm back. So this is the next morning, and I wanted to show you what the pork roast looks like after it has roasted slow and low in the oven overnight. So this is what my roast is looking like. Now, let me go ahead and get a fork because I want to show you. So you see this here, this bone that's exposed. That's a really good indicator that your meat is ready, because it starts to shrink, and that's why you see the bone. Another thing that I look for when I'm looking to check and see if it's time for me to take it out is how tender. So I want to know if my fork can go in, and my fork is going all the way in. And I probably, let's see. Yep, I can tear it apart. So that's a really good indicator that is done. So usually my last step is to broil the top skin. For me, the top skin is too flimsy, and I need it to be a lot more crisper. So, turn this thing around. So, I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to put it on broil. Look at that. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to put this thing back in, and I'm going to change it to broil. And then we're going to crisp up this top skin, and I'll come back and show you my finished results. All right, so I want to show y'all exactly just how tender this meat is. Y'all, I got a whole spoon that I'm about to stab this meat with. I don't think I should be saying stab, but check this out. Look at that. Just breaking apart, just falling. It's a bone right there. But look at it. Look at it. You think I can pull this bone out? Oh. Girl, I pulled the whole. It's hot. I pulled the whole bone almost. Look, I pulled the whole bone. Y'all can't tell me that this ain't tender.